Hello everybody and welcome to something brand new. Today I'm going to be showing a video between two very skilled players, T1metocarry and me. T1metocarry being the winner of tournaments. He has many hours in the game, I think probably roughly 200. I have about 400, so this is going to be a back and forth between two people who are very good at the game. And originally what I planned on doing was commentating while playing, but I realized that against somebody like this, I was very disappointed in how little I talked and how lackluster my commentary was, so I decided in the end to just commentate over top of all of it in a replay. That's much nicer because then it allows me to focus a lot more on what I'm saying and to really give some good advice and maybe provide an entertaining video for others. As well, on other news, the tournament is coming up this Saturday, and the more people we get, the more, the more fun we can have, the more, we just added a prize of a exclusive Forts t-shirt, which is also pretty cool. The more people that can join also, hopefully eventually this will become more and more to the point where I can start giving out more prizes and, add on to the tournament, such as 2v2 tournaments. So please check that out and join us if you can. I'll be live streaming and uploading the live stream to this channel if you guys want to check that out as well. Either way, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Again, it is something new, and again, originally, I didn't plan on doing this. So, hope you guys enjoy. So I realized a big mistake on my part is that when I'm playing a intense level match, I do not talk very much. Almost not at all. I went back through the recording, and I thought my commentary is very lackluster. So I thought I'd just jump right into the replay and show you guys what it looks like from the every person's view instead of just my view. So a few things to note is right at the beginning, you have to consider whether or not you want map control. Map control is essential because it allows you to get all these machine guns out without your opponent getting all these machine guns out. Because machine guns kill other machine guns so easily, if you're able to get map control with these machine guns, you can essentially destroy any machine guns that aren't hidden in a little pit. So when you're considering whether or not you want map control, you have to consider, are you going to be able to be active enough on a sniper to kill every machine gun your opponent has. But even with a sniper, usually the APM of a machine gun, your APM on a sniper, if the player is good enough, won't be enough to kill all the machine guns, especially if you're rebuilding it. On 4 mines, this entire game, I stick on these 4 mines, and I was able to easily keep up with constantly rebuilding all my machine guns and have enough materials left over to keep on teching up, keep on getting my next weapons out. Another thing you have to consider is if you're going to take map control with these machine guns, a big target is going to be their economy, because often their economy, especially on maps like this and Ice Cave and maps where the economy isn't directly underneath your base, so any map that isn't that's on the side of a cliff usually, except moorings maybe, you got to consider taking that out as fast as possible because that is going to be a huge priority target. Now, if we look, he did his best to defend his economy, and he did a really good job, but he still lost a mine because I got that map control. On maps that are this close together, and especially maps where the economy is this vulnerable, I often like to build an upgrade center first to get those miniguns out, get that AP sniper out, and deal a lot of harassment damage, and assist with getting the map control. Because, again, if you lose map control, these machine guns you can't get out. You can't get this slew of machine guns out, which can cause a lot of problems for you down the road. Now, this map is really weird because you can build all the way up and down, which is quite annoying, personally. Yeah. So that lets you shoot down and up at whatever you want, generally. Which again is quite annoying. Now, these miniguns do a lot of work throughout this entire game. Because I got the upgrade center out first, I was able to get these miniguns out, meaning I was able to constantly poke at his armor, poke at his snipers. As you can see, I'm just barely shooting too far down, but I very quickly am able to take out a lot of what he has. And again, constantly rebuilding those machine guns. Like I said, 4 mines is enough to constantly be able to rebuild those. And I do have both the centers out, whereas he only has 1. And this is the point where I just constantly rebuild machine guns and then slowly work towards heavy mortars. No rush really, as long as I'm constantly dealing damage, putting my opponent on the back step, Having these miniguns really helps at taking care of anything my opponent really puts out that's vulnerable. And another thing he did is he made the metal slanted so it reflects, so my bullets reflect so far down that they end up killing his machine guns, which I thought was kind of funny. And now if I shot a sniper up there, I'm sure it'd do the exact same thing. And now the mortars in this map are kind of wonky and they're kind of hard to aim, but throughout this game it does eventually, you know, from here on out it's just constant minigun fire and then constant mortar fire. One thing I could have done to improve my build definitely is building up a lot earlier and placing an AP sniper. As you could see, that would have helped a lot with taking care of these snipers, and I could have even shot down at his machine guns, meaning my mortars would have free reign, and that would have been good game. Easy peasy. But I didn't do that early enough, and the back and forth mortars lasted a very long time. Now, he did have to slant all his armor here, which again, the miniguns help a lot in having to delay your opponent, especially on maps where the armor is flat, such as Split, such as Ice Cave. It helps a lot because it forces your opponent to place a lot more armor, meaning they're going to be even more delayed to whatever they're doing, whether it be heavy weapons, whether it be heavy mortars, whether it be miniguns, either way. Now, something I would have done if I were him is I would have built my own miniguns, albeit they would have taken a long time, but that would have dealt a lot of damage to what I had. Or even machine guns behind 2 layers of doors would have been a great commodity to deal with everything I had, not just using these snipers, because obviously that was a huge problem for him for the majority of the game. Now these doors caused a lot of problems for me firing because these joints constantly got in my way, meaning it was just a lot of trying to fire my mortars and just refiring my miniguns. And then this AP sniper never really did that much, but it helps a lot if they get anything around here. I have seen a lot of people build up to here, but I don't know, I just don't prefer it. I like having all my stuff as centralized as possible. Having these top bits makes you vulnerable to if you lose this middle part, and it also costs a lot more resources to armor up a whole nother section, whereas I use this part and I'm already having armor on my core. I don't have to add extra armor to my own core, and I already have the armor there to sort of support it. Now something he never did still is got an upgrade center, which cost him probably the game because he never got that AP sniper out. Now right there, because he shot that minigun, I assumed he got an AP sniper, and I put second doors on 2 of them because that's all I had resources for. Again, I was living on 4 mines, which isn't all that much. He's living on 5 mines the majority of the game, which, yeah, okay, that's more than me for all I can say, but that also cost him the map advantage. Now this is sort of where the game starts to go downhill, so I will speed it up a little bit because, like I said, it is just a lot of back and forth mortar play. So here we see just sort of constant rebuilding of the machine guns, constant firing of the mortars, constant firing of the miniguns. Just like that's all the late game is in this, really, is just the constant back and forth. On other maps there's also usually swarm missiles involved, but other maps are also different in the fact where if you're building the base from the ground up, then it's much harder to get that map advantage because you're basically relying on whatever's on the front of your fort, and that's usually a lot more vulnerable because it's a lot more squished together, meaning miniguns can take out a lot more of the machine guns at once, and it's harder to get this defense against mortars. So on other maps, map advantage is a lot more important because, again, getting those machine guns out is extremely hard, and especially keeping them alive. Hang time is a little bit special. Hopefully I'll be able to play a game on hang time and show you guys that, but like I said, and this is a okay, so this person has won tournaments. He is a very high level player. He's among probably the top 5 players in the game currently, and this game took about half an hour to do, which it was quite a long game, which is often is what happens with these games because of just this constant back and forth, all these APM syncs, and constant firing. Now I made it so I had just enough resources to keep on firing, keep on rebuilding, and I never really went for that factory or anything, because generally when I see somebody place down a factory, that's when they've lost the game. They stop focusing on the machine guns and the mortars and the swarm missiles and the snipers, and they start focusing on that cannon or that laser, and because they stop focusing on all these core weapons, they lose the game. Now, when I say core weapons, machine guns and mortars are definitely #1 priority. Those are the things you want out the most. But miniguns, snipers, and AP snipers are definitely a huge commodity to have at helping you deal with all these things. Either way, that was the end of the game. Yes, you're right, time to carry. Well played. That was a very nice back and forth late game play. Something that you don't usually see very often with a lot of people who may not be as adept at this game as I am. Like I said, just getting out that AP sniper higher would have let me have free reign at whatever I wanted to, and I just didn't get it out fast enough. But again, that's another APM sync that, you know, when I'm firing all these weapons, I may not actually have. And I did sell the doors at the end because I got rid of that top bit so that I could actually finally fire my mortars freely. And what he could have done to maybe save himself is what I would have done personally, is I would have built machine guns, 3 machine guns up and down here with 2 layers of doors. That would let him deal a lot more damage to all the machine guns I had. And you know, there's no real counter to these double-doored miniguns except getting the mortar shots off. So if he had gotten the machine guns to deal with my machine guns instead of that sniper, maybe even a sniper on top of that to deal with any remainders, and then just constantly fired with 2 or 3 mortars, that would have dealt with everything I had. But then again, it's just whoever's better at constantly rebuilding and that back and forth and just that constant replacing and almost monotony, like that macro machine of just constantly building up. Anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked this style of video, this is sort of a new style of video for me. I don't usually do this, but when I'm playing games, my commentary, I find almost always I'm pretty much disappointed in my commentary because it's very, considering I'm new to this whole YouTube thing, it's very hard for me to commentate while playing games, especially fast-paced RTS games. So I decided maybe going over the replays and looking at those was probably a better style to do because it lets me talk a lot more and explain what I'm doing and stop having to focus on the game. Either way, I hope you guys, like I said, if you guys like this, put it below and I'll do more. I'll probably release at least a few more because I enjoy this a lot more. It's also a lot easier to edit because then I just have to throw this in and I know I don't have to cut anything out really, because there's always going to be something happening. That's my goal. What else? Oh yes, I said at the beginning of the video, or else at least I should have, and I'm going to say it again now. The tournament is going to be coming up in a few days. I hope to see you guys there. The more people I get there, the more things I can do with it, such as 2v2 tournaments and more prizes, etc. We just recently got another prize added on, which is a t-shirt exclusive to only the champions, as well as the Discord title and all the keys you get, which all in all, if you win first place, that's $80 worth of stuff you win, which is a lot of stuff. Think of it, like $80 worth of like anything is a lot of anything really, but like the keys and the t-shirt added up, that's, you know, if you go into it, if you learn the game well enough to really get competitive, you could be earning a lot of prizes as well. Just getting close to finals. Like, you don't even, it's free to play, so if you just play, then that's good enough, because you can possibly even get like 2 forts keys or 1 forts key, and that's still lots to get, and you can come get your friends to play and they can join the tournament, and hopefully that becomes a great deal. Either way, I've been rambling on way too long and I'm sure everybody's clicked off, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Next videos will be popping up in a few seconds all over the screen, and I hope you guys subscribe because I do really appreciate it, and that does make me want to do more content. And you know, the more subscribers I get, maybe I can start adding other stuff like better audio and even a face cam. I'd love to do a face cam, but currently I want to know if this is something I can invest a lot more time into. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and bye-bye.